Hello there and welcome to Mark Carr Hypnotherapy. Tonight we have Frankie. Evening, Frankie.
Hello.
Hello, thank you for doing this. As I always say, it's great to have people that will actually come forward and say, this was my experience with hypnotherapy. It really does get people to come in and say, well, I trust you and
Yeah.
they trust me, and it works for them too. So, Frankie, ladies and gents, Frankie was a client of mine not too long ago, actually, and had a great experience with hypnotherapy. And I'll just hand it over to you, Frankie. Just tell us what was going on and how it's helped you, etc.
Yeah. So I mean, I've had, as you know, I'm so sorry, these dogs next to me. I've had hypnotherapy before, but your style was completely different. And obviously we've discovered you via Laron. Sorry, bear with. Let me just
Hmm.
pause this. I'm just going to get the dogs out for 1 minute.
Sure.
And so, yes, we've discovered you obviously via Laron. I've had hypnotherapy in the past, but it's completely different to your technique. My previous lady, who was fantastic as well, took me back to work specifically on certain past incidents that have really affected me with anxiety.
Hmm.
And speaking with Laurent, obviously, and as you said, you'll get him into a great mindset, and me, might still be stuck in that mindset. So I
Hmm.
thought, why not? I love going under hypno, love it. I think it's great. So with yours, yeah, it was so different. I loved the fact that you were so broad that you didn't want really to know what was going on previously.
Bored.
Broad,
Broad. I think it's
broad,
bored.
sorry,
I was saying,
broad.
okay.
No, well, you didn't seem bored to me.
Not much.
We had a great time.
We did.
No, you was just broad in the sense of you didn't really want to know or work on specifics. You just sort of took issues as a whole, I guess, which I actually was more intrigued more than anything, just to see how that would work and what would actually come up in my brain. Yeah, I thought it was great. The first session for me was incredibly deep and very heavy. And everyone that I've spoke to has also said, I've told them that for me was the heaviest one. And for Laurent, I think it was maybe the third or fourth session.
Yeah, third one for him. Yeah.
And yeah, it brought up a lot of things more so from a child's point of view, my 7-year-old or 6-year-old self. It brought up things that I had buried purposely, and actually didn't really know that would affect me now, being
Mhm.
31. So yeah, it was very, very powerful for me. And obviously, as each session went on, I think my favourite um, was probably number 4. Probably
Control
number
room.
4, the control room. Yeah,
Mm.
and as I said to you after, I still can visualize. For me, it was almost like a cleaner, if you like, was walking around an empty arena, just clearing everything to the point where there was nothing left. So for me, that was when I felt free. And I speak so highly of you, and I always say that fourth session for me, like the finisher, if you like, I, for a long time now, have felt free mentally clear.
Outstanding.
Yeah,
And the
it's
great
great.
thing is, my friend, is that you've done. I mean, I know I sat in the room, I was there with you, put you in hypnosis, but like I tell everybody, all of my clients, at the end of the day, it's you that's really done the work. It's
Mm.
that will to want to say, right, enough is enough now, and I've got to get rid of this. Let that go, whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think it's as well. It's like a defrag, like you said. You're just clearing out stuff that's, I know it's not magic, although sometimes I think you are. A magician. No, I know it's not magic, and it does require, it's not an. I wouldn't say it's an instant fix at all. It still requires, which I've now acknowledged, positive thinking. It still
Yeah.
requires the breaking of your own habits.
Hmm.
But it's definitely cleared a lot of stuff in my head that I didn't really know was there. So yeah, it's brilliant.
I think you've hit an excellent point there, saying that you've had your hypnotherapy, but that's not the end of it. It's an ongoing thing. You just basically have to learn from it and carry forward what you've learned and the new things that you pick up, because you come out with your own ideas of that works very well. And I think I'll add to that this, and it will make you that little bit of a better person or whatever you require. Yeah, absolutely true. And the broad thing as well. The reason the reason I do a broad form of hypnosis, I don't hit on a specific. Somebody might say to me, I think it's because of this incident that happened so many years ago. Well, the chances are what you're going through has nothing to do with that particular incident. That incident is simply a trigger, or has been triggered rather. It's not the
Yeah.
cause. So I love to go back to the very, as long as it's safe to do so, of course, that's why we have a discussion at the beginning. And I like to go back to that inner child bit because
That was really powerful.
yeah.
Inner child.
And it's because when children are emotional sponges, they pick up on so much, and they hear things possibly that they're not supposed to. And if the parents aren't aware of that, they don't know how to articulate it, and they don't know how to deal with it, and they carry that with them, and it turns into a guilt thing, and it affects them.
Because you don't know. Like even if you said now go back to 6 and 7, again for me it wasn't a happy time, and as you grow, you just tend to bury it, and not purposely either. I thought when I'd done my previous hypnotherapy, I thought I'd worked on everything that was the issue. But that's the thing with pinpointing one specific thing, you're only working on that.
Exactly.
So, it's nice. I think I prefer the broadness in a sense, because I suppose it takes you to the issue rather than what you think is the issue. So it makes sense. And I loved it. It was great.
And takes away a little bit more as well, because although you think, I want to get rid of this, your unconscious mind knows what else can go with it. Think, well, why are you doing that? Get rid of that, because it's just taking up unnecessary space and it doesn't do you any good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one thing for me that I am working on, which is still very much, is just a bit of health anxiety. And I think I've had that since my dad passed so suddenly. So if anything's wrong, I'm like, what's, am I dying? Am I safe? Oh my God. And like we had a conversation before, didn't we? It's not a fear of dying. It's shit, what's wrong? So that's why I said to you about, I've realized it's not magic. It still requires everyday positivity, practicing gratitude. But I'm very thankful, because for the first time in a long time, my brain, despite any health or falls that I may have experienced recently, is clear, and it's a really lovely, light feeling.
Good. I'm so happy you enjoyed the experience. Ladies and gents, Frankie, thank you so much for coming forward and doing this for me. Ladies and gents, remember, the help is always out there, whether you see me or somebody else. If you're struggling with anxiety, don't bottle it up, let it go, because that's what your mind wants you to do. It wants to clear and do the very best for you. So on that note, once again, Frankie, thank you so much for that. Look out for me, ladies and gents. I'm on Google and a website, www.markcarterhypnotherapy.com. I'm also on Instagram, which I'm getting help with, by the way, aren't I? Yeah, from my friend here. YouTube and Facebook. So it only remains for me to say, ladies and gents, have a great evening, and I wish you the very best mental, emotional, physical health. Good night.